7, 8, 9, yeah, that's everybody.
We are live.
Okay, we are live. So everybody's here, can we go ahead and start, or do we have to wait till?
Dan here?
Okay.
Is Dan on here?
No.
She said
Okay.
Dan's not coming.
Okay.
Yeah, he had a work conference or something, and he wasn't gonna have cell service.
He has a new job.
Oh, does he?
Well, it does.
Still with the state?
Still at the state, he's the boss of him. He's like the district over several districts, and so we'll be traveling among those districts. I knew for a long time, but I couldn't tell if I
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
We've got several state parks area, or?
Yeah, I can't remember, he told me how many there were. Dan is quite chatty in the car. My writers group, I told them, and they're like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Yes, I am." He's probably scared of my driving, but
So keep talking to keep his mind
We
off.
can't tell him.
nervous chatter. You have an understanding, we both know how to watch for deer, so we're
Oh,
very
yeah.
vigilant.
Working on that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was even remind
Not my part, but
You can
like, are you still scanning? Are you still
Yeah.
scanning? My eyes are just constantly.
Yep, you do, yeah.
Look at me.
we're having problems
That doesn't
with
always
coyotes.
help.
Oh, yeah.
They killed 2 calves,
Uh-huh.
mangled up a cow. So, I saw other people were talking about.
I think it's a breeding season for the coyotes, so they said, be careful, watch out. Because they're.
Have any,
livestock dogs? Dogs or,
No,
Yeah.
my big livestock dogs are in the house curled up. They go to the window and bark. But I have had the coyotes come up in the yard and attack the dogs.
Oh, really? Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness.
We have quite a coyote problem.
All right, we have a few, I haven't seen any.
It's either coyotes or bald eagles. Take your pick.
Oh.
What the coyotes didn't eat, the bald eagles took off.
Oh,
Yeah,
goodness.
they can carry off some pretty big stuff.
Yeah, well, we had 2 brand new born calves, and the coyotes got them, because he found them that way, and he was hauling them off, and he said the eagles came in, and they just swooped in and took the carcass and everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
They are huge.
Yeah, the bald eagles, those claws
They
are
are huge.
huge.
When they fly over, everything else quiet.
Quiet.
All right, it's 7 o'clock. I call this meeting of the Board of Trustees to order. We'll begin with roll call. Can you hear us, Leanna?
Yes.
All right, Leanna,
Here.
Chris, here, Goldie, here, Patty,
Here.
Becky, here, Jane, yes, Carlin,
Here.
Dan, and Mike.
Dan and Mike. Okay. Okay. All right, so she said Kristen's not going to be here. She was just here last month, so she doesn't have a report to give. Kendra, do you have something to say?
She's here for the.
Okay, no, I was just gonna, public comments time. But before we start, I wanna remind everybody that it's really important that you make a point to check your email and make sure there's no late stuff that has come in. Like today, there was stuff from Jackie that she had just sent.
I sent last.
Well, last night, okay.
It was late, like 8 o'clock.
Yeah, or whatever, but, almost always there's something that comes in later after you get the packet. So if everybody can just remember to do that, because otherwise, sometimes there's something pertinent that you need that you don't have when you get here.
I wish there was a way that, like, our email could send us a message on our other email that we've gotten.
I keep forgetting to check them.
Yeah, like it would,
Well, this month.
when they post something important, if they would
Yeah,
If
if
they could send us a notice on our
right?
other email that we've gotten something on trails, but.
well, but if you could just make a point the week of the meeting to just make sure, like, the day before, or that, even that day, that nothing has come in, so that if there is something, because sometimes things do come in after the packets come out, so I just want to remind everybody of that, it's helpful if everybody can have everything that they need. And also, if you can't be here, it's important to tell Jackie so that we know we're gonna have a forum. So, anyway,
Because if we're not gonna have it, we don't have to.
yeah, we don't, well, yeah, and it's, yeah. So, anyway, all right, the first item on our agenda is the consent agenda. And did everybody get a copy of the executive meeting minutes? And have seen those? Okay, that'll be part of the consent agenda.
Correct.
And make sure you return these to Jackie at the end of the meeting. Okay, so, I'll hear a motion.
Make a motion, we accept the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, you send it, okay, thank you. The motion was made and seconded to accept the consent agenda. Any discussion? All right, please take the vote.
Leanna,
Yes.
Chris, Goldie,
Yes.
Patty,
Yes,
Becky, yes, Jane? Yes, Carlin.
Yes.
motion carried. All right, it looks like we have no unfinished business. All right, let's move on to new business. We're going to consider approval of the revised bylaws. You should have got a copy of that in there, and from what there's a part in there that has highlighting on it, that's what we need to approve, right?
Yes, that's.
The rest of it, we approved the revisions at the November meeting, I think. And then the one with the highlighting regarding dismissal is what we're looking at to approve. So are there any questions that you want to ask about that? Anybody? Leanna, are you clear on what we're doing?
Yes.
Okay,
This is what the attorney,
Right.
right? Sort of. The part in blue is what was already in our policy. And then we didn't realize we had a policy for that, so we came up with our own. And then we went back and looked at that. And so as long as we met what was in the blue, it was okay with the other parts. And the only thing that we really added was at 5 meetings, the president would contact them to see what they were gonna do. So, everything else is there.
okay, any more questions or comments? Okay. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the revised bylaws.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded that we approve the revised bylaws. Any more discussion? Okay, please take a vote.
Leanna,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Goldie,
Yes.
Patty,
Yes.
yes, Jane? Yes, Carlin.
Yes.
Okay. All right, now, the next item is consider approval to enter into agreement with the Wilson Group for finishing the roof replacement at the Warrensburg branch. There should be a copy in your thing from Gordian that, explains what that is.
I thought we did all of this.
There was that L-shaped section, which was really where most of the leaks were. All this was kind of in motion before I started, and then we kind of finished the project, but for some reason, the engineer, whoever it was that guys had chosen, they didn't do that part. I don't understand why. And we didn't find out until after we were already in the project, because we thought it was the whole thing. So,
Well, that's what I thought too.
yeah. but it ended up being the L-shaped part, it's back.
They didn't replace that part, but I thought they did some repair and resurface.
They did a little, but it still leaks. I mean, it's not, yeah.
But this will
This should be a replacement,
replace.
Yeah. so it's only a year behind. Or is it 2
And
years?
these are hard numbers.
Yes,
This isn't a fixed price. This isn't an estimate. This is the
this
fixed
is
price.
the fixed price unless they run into something and they have to do a change order. And then that would come back to you guys for, you are correct.
Anybody else? Any other questions?
How much did we spend already? Do we know? That might have been something I needed to research ahead of time. Sorry.
Wasn't it 230,000?
That's, I was gonna say about 250, but I think you're right, I think it was less than that. Of course, we had the engineering services in there. Yeah, I'd say probably between 230 and 250. But yeah, I don't have it right in front of me.
No, that's
Okay. Any other questions or comments? No? Okay, then we need a motion.
I move that we approve to have the roof fixed.
Agreed to enter into agreement with, I mean, just basically restate it.
Yeah, just restate it.
Second.
Okay, motion is being made and seconded to enter into agreement with the Wilson Group for finishing the roof replacement at Warrensburg. Does that sound all right? Yeah, okay, you got that, Becky? Okay, any more discussion? Okay, please take the vote.
Banna,
yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Goldie,
Yes.
Patty,
Yes.
Becky, yes, Jane, yes, Carla.
Yes.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is approval to enter into agreement with the Wilson Group for walkway stairs and improvements at the Warrensburg branch. Anybody have any questions?
I have one question. Are we really gonna follow the path they walk, or are we gonna make it straight and turn?
So, it's hard to see out there with the snow, but there is kind of a hill. And so, it used to be a house and there was a driveway, so it will follow that natural curve of the lane, instead of it being a straight.
Well, I just wondered because if you guys are going to put other things out there,
Mhm.
it would be easier to work with a straighter thing. Okay,
Yeah. and
Well,
you
for
said-
what, kind of what we had envisioned, it should work.
okay.
Yeah.
And you said you were hoping to make it ADA accessible. Did I take that
Yes,
right?
there will be a ramp at the back door,
Nice.
which means we're gonna have to reconfigure that whole landing pad there. And then, of course, from our back door, just right out here, straight across to the annex. And if you wanna peek out there, there's paths through the snow where staff have been trekking back and forth, to just kind of show you. And then at the end, right by the annex, there's a short little set of stairs. And there's a tree right there, but to put a sidewalk, those roots are already over the ground level, basically. And so, we would need to get rid of the tree, ground the stump in order to, not mess up the sidewalk that we're putting.
Okay, so we've completely ruled out then trying to put any kind of parking back there.
Not completely. I mean,
Well, I mean, if you build this, if we're gonna spend this kind of money to put a sidewalk straight across the middle of it, then that's not gonna leave much.
right,
We'll have to tear it out if you put a parking lot back there.
yeah, I mean, if we ever put a parking lot. But I know that was why this property was originally purchased, that house, and then it was demolished and all of that. And I don't know if there's a basement, I don't know. But,
I've never heard them ever talk about putting a parking lot back.
they looked into it, and it was gonna be so costly, I think, because of the grade or something, and then it's like a natural watershed there too, from what I understand. So, and that, I might be getting that mixed up with over by the annex, but I know there's a spot where they had looked to do the parking lot. It was gonna cost so much, and then, over here, I believe that's over by the annex, there's a watershed. They had talked about maybe doing it over here, and so I think that's what it's called, it's a watershed, but it's something where it was gonna
Some kind of
complicate
drainage.
things and add additional cost if we wanted to.
I would like, sorry. To me, I think it would be better to, you talked about going up the driveway, move an access point over closer to the building and put a sidewalk and then have that whole open area to use for like the thing that we talked about, which is, could you explain what we talked about?
An amphitheater.
Yeah,
And it's gonna, did you see the little trees?
yeah,
It's gonna follow that natural rounding,
yeah,
and then they could look out on the grass over there if the kids wanted to play. You could do performances, you could do programs out there, and then, of course, then we have over here back, under the trees,
right.
if you will, that could be used for programming spaces as well.
So you're saying along
Closer
along
to
the building.
Closer to the building,
Yeah.
yeah. But that's my 2 cents. And the only reason I suggest that is because of future use, depending on what, I don't think we should do anything that might mess up future use.
Right.
Spend money and then have to redo it.
Right. But we don't have a bid for that, so
Right,
I'm aware of that.
and it may be quite some time before we can.
And then I have one more question.
Yeah, sure.
Does the library internet work in that area?
It's possible.
I mean, I'm concerned about people other than people from the library using it, like going out there and sitting and stuff like that. And so,
Do you mean like after hours, or?
either after hours or during hours, people who don't, have a place to spend their day, that's what I'm trying to say.
I guess it's no different than in the building. I mean,
Yeah.
it's library property, so if they're asked to leave, they have to leave the entire property. It's not just the library, it's the annex, the maintenance building, it's
Right.
all three properties we have here, address.
And there isn't really any reason that at the end of the building, we couldn't, maybe have a fence or some fencing. If it became,
Oh, yeah,
if it became a problem.
Absolutely, yeah,
Okay.
that's always an option.
Yeah. I'm just full of things tonight, sorry.
That's all right, no, better to what, ask ahead of time, then afterwards and say, oh, I wish I would've said that.
Yep.
So, okay, any more comments or questions? Okay.
I would say maybe in the future, if we're gonna do something like this, maybe a diagram would help,
Okay, sure.
to see how it's gonna lay out.
But I definitely do think we need sidewalks and things out there for the staff.
Yeah,
I feel bad they have to trudge through
if they're
the snow.
trudging
Yeah.
through all that stuff.
Especially sheep trail.
Well, and I know it gets muddy and it gets, you can't clean it off and you can't.
It's pretty bad. I used to park on North Street and I quit because of that.
Yeah.
One too many times getting muddy shoes.
Okay? Is someone willing to make a motion?
I move we approve the agreement for the, walkway and stairs at the Warren's improvement at the Warrensburg Branch.
I'll second. Okay, a motion has been made and seconded to approve the agreement for the walkway and stair improvements at the Warrensburg branch. Any more discussion? Okay, let's have a vote.
Deanna,
Yes.
Chris, Goldie? Patty?
Yes.
Becky? Yes. Jane? Yes. Carlin?
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. All right, now we're gonna move on to a discussion on the foundation. Know how you want us to do this? You wanna, did everybody get the information?
Yeah, but I'm still just a
See the
little
research that
confused,
she did?
Yeah,
On,
yeah.
just what it is you're asking them to do.
well, there's issues, and that's what I'm coming to you guys for. What do we do?
Well,
I need some guidance.
Well, that's what I'm saying, I'm confused about how it's actually working.
Mhm.
So you attend the meetings, but you don't have any voice in it.
Correct. And our board president attends it the same way, ex officio.
Has no-
We have no vote.
You're just
We're there
there
just as a liaison. Answer
to
questions.
gather information. Okay, and so you're wanting to do what?
So if you read their bylaws, which is their governing document, just like y'all's is your governing document, if you read in here, it's the officers that have a lot of the responsibility that the director has always done. And I'm not griping about workload or anything like that, but they really should be following what their bylaws are. Just like when I first started here, we had staff that were doing the, minutes.
Yeah.
Where in the bylaws, it says that's the secretary's responsibility. So it's kind of like that, where the bylaws aren't being followed. And my understanding is that this was started, director, I think it was when Karen Hickman was here. I believe is when it started, and I don't know if she just was okay doing it. I don't know how it got started that she was doing all of these things, and then it just continued with each director that we have done that.
So you're being the secretary for them.
So I put their packets together just like I do yours. I notice the meetings just like I do yours. I put their financial, I track all their financials. I put their financial statement together, and then they're looking at me like I have to present that financial statement, which is, what does the treasurer do?
Yeah,
I mean,
at the meetings, is just like they think that Jackie should take care of everything. Like, for instance, when they wanted to transfer and change where they had stuff, she had to do all the work. She had to do all the changing, all the paperwork, all the stuff, which they should have done that. And so, I mean, like she said, she's not complaining that she has work to do, but she's got other obligations too, so they're taking
Right.
time for her to do work that they should be doing.
the impression I get is that they feel like I work for them, and I don't. I mean, I don't mind helping, I don't mind being a liaison. I really don't mind tracking the finances, because they get audited with us. And so I don't mind doing that. But there again, their treasurer should know about the finances. They should be able to read the financial statement and be able to present that at the meeting, even if they have to ask me questions.
Even if they worked with you to become accustomed to doing it and.
Yeah, oh yeah, I don't
Yeah.
mind training them, I don't mind at all, it's just, and it's kind of one of those things that I've inherited, where it's always kind of been the director that's done it, even though it's gone against the bylaws the whole time. And I know, Rochelle, and then Tanya, and then of course I had to. And there's nobody else now. I am planning on, teaching Susan how to do this as my backup, so if, heaven forbid I get hit by a bus, as we say, that there's somebody else that can do it. It took me literally 2 solid weeks of work, more than 40 hours, mind you, to figure out how to do this. I had to take it all the way back to the last one that Karen Hickman did in 2018 and work my way forward to 21. September of 21 is when we did the meeting. It took me 2 straight weeks. This was early on. I mean, I started July 19th.
Well, let me be clear.
Uh-huh.
The foundation is supposed to control the money that is left to the library. No?
Well, what is designated for foundation, yes.
Not just.
They don't get all
library.
donations. It's like the donor has to say, I want this to go to the foundation.
Do donors know that?
My branch managers are telling them that.
Well,
A lot of people think that you have to donate to like a foundation, 501c3, but you can donate to a public library and still get that tax credit or whatever. And a lot of people don't understand that they can do that with a public library. Did you have?
because are they supposed to work under the board, under our board? They have we have no control over what they do or how
The only
they.
thing we do is we have to appoint people to the board.
And
As I
you have
understand
to
it.
ratify their changes to their bylaws. So you have to basically approve and say you agree with their bylaws changes.
Because as long as, I mean, you said that there was this problem with this money that was donated, and it was supposed to be paid on the Odessa branch. But as long as I've been on the board, they've not had to answer to this board. They've not had to give any kind of like an annual report. They've kind of just been over in no man's land. I mean, we kind of know about them and they're over there, but they're in no man's land and we've never had any kind of.
And I think that's what Jackie's point, that they're just kind of over there and they just do whatever they want and they don't,
Or they don't
they're
do
not,
it?
they don't, and they're not accountable. Yeah.
Well, and I think that's a good point, Goldie, because I have all the packets here that I have created for them. So you have the agendas here, and you can see it's the same stuff on the agenda nearly every single time. It's like, they'll discuss it to death, but then nothing ever gets done. They talk about fundraising and fundraising opportunities, but you're not gonna get to the goals. What was it, $850,000 worth of endowment funds they're supposed to be fundraising for? You can't do that just with these little book sales, $50 here, $100 there. I mean, it's gonna take forever to get there. Yeah.
Elected and
Exactly, so I don't know if
spent.
anybody wants to, but these are the packets I've put together and you can see the agenda. They've also had meetings where there hasn't been a quorum. And then a lot of times they just wait till the next meeting, so they're not even really,
Or talk about the stuff that they want to talk about, even though there's not a quorum.
And they don't meet monthly, they meet
they meet
quarterly.
quarterly,
Mhm.
correct. Yes. And it used to be, when I first started, their meetings were the week after our board meeting. And I asked them if they would give me another week cushion in there because I had to do another packet and all the stuff that I inherited, I guess, was making it very difficult for me to do two packets back to back, especially the week of our board meeting, and to have it ready, that week for them. So they did agree to give me an extra week cushion, which I appreciated. But yeah, I don't know if anybody wants to look at these or not, but I did bring them.
Well, so do we have any recourse to make them do their jobs, or?
The only thing that I could think of that could be done is that somehow or another the two boards get together, whether that's this board creates a committee to go talk to their board, or there's a committee from each board that talks and has discussion and figure out, because at this point, I feel like I'm wasting my time.
Well,
in a lot of ways.
I don't understand why, if they're a board and we have no recourse what they do, and you're there to just, I don't know, I guess just to oversee and report back to this board, there's no reason for you to be their secretary and keep their minutes and everything else.
They do the minutes now, their secretary takes the minutes, just like Becky does. But they don't put the packet together and all this stuff, and they never, the board president, just like with this board, Patty knows, I will send her a draft agenda, and then she can let me know if she wants changes, table some, oh, let's do that next month, oh, you forgot this, I do that with them, and it's like, oh, no, that looks good, and it's always an update on the Books by Mail program, fundraising discussion, book sale committee updates. I mean, it's investment discussion, but it's just discussion until here recently, when they moved things to Edward Jones, and then this last thing where they rolled in the Odessa Building Fund, into, a 12-month CD. even after I had done all the research and let them know, this money was supposed to be for building payments, that's what it was given for. And then the lady, and you'll have to help me with names, Kendra. Nita, thank you. She's the president, right? Okay. So she, had talked to Kendra and, as the branch manager over there in Odessa. And so they had talked, and Kendra was like, she is very upset. So I was like, see if she can meet with me when I'm gonna be over there. And so I did meet with her, and was that her daughter?
No,
No.
that is their, secretary.
Secretary, okay.
Rena,
Okay.
Munsterman, so Nita Dillon and Rena Munsterman from their board came to meet with you and Susan.
I thought Raina was a Dylan too somewhere. There's a whole bunch of Dylans.
Munsterman.
No kidding, no kidding me.
It's her married name.
She was a Dylan, yeah. I mean, our kids went to school with all the Dylans, and my husband, went to school with all the Dylans too, so. My question is, did the original money, or why was this going to the foundation originally? Because if they're making out the checks to the library and not the foundation, was the original years ago aspect to go to the foundation, or was it to come
I
directly
think I
to
can
the?
answer that from the research I've done.
Okay.
So if, jump in if there's anything I'm forgetting, because you were there when the building was done. So I think when they were trying to get the money for the building, because it's a brand new building, yeah, they built the new building. And so, they had to do fundraising, which it was supposed to be the foundation doing fundraising. Kendra can tell you who mainly did fundraising, the staff at the Odessa branch. And then, and of course, they were still doing their full-time jobs as well. There was a grant at some point, and there were supposed to be matching funds. 2 grants? Okay, 2 grants, and then there were supposed to be matching funds. But they couldn't do it, because the money was in Edward Jones, they had to do it through the Bank of Odessa. Is that one of the requirements?
Yeah, because when both grants came from an extension of Bank of Odessa. One is the Cobb Foundation, who is a member of Bank of Odessa.
Okay.
And the Gobert Foundation, which is attached to the Bank of Odessa. So that's why they had to form a, account with Bank of Odessa.
So at that time, when it was being built, and then just after, they were putting all of the building money in the Bank of Odessa for that building. And so I think it just continued, and like honestly, because their treasurer takes forever to go to the branch to pick up the check to go deposit it, and then I just get a copy with the deposit slip. Well, anyway, we were having issues with that, so I asked Kendra, instead of me having to drive over there, if she would just do it. And we asked them to purchase a deposit-only stamp, so that then she could stamp them before she took them to the bank. And so that's kind of what we're doing now. So, I mean, the treasurer is not even the one taking the deposits to the bank. Kendra is. I send them to her in the courier, and then she goes to the bank and deposits it.
So was the original setup, though, that the foundation, were in control of that money?
They decided to put all of the money into the foundation there so that, something with the building fund and all of that, that's why they went through the foundation and put it there. So any money that we earned from any fundraisers went into that.
Okay.
And then the clothes closet committed to make monthly payments towards it, and we were just instructed previously from that director, I believe it was Karen Hicklin, was our
At that time.
at that time, told us to just, every time that came in, we were just supposed to take it down.
So that's where they were funneling all the buildings. And I think it just continued,
We did,
and
we
with,
were never instructed
through
differently.
Rochelle, then Tanya, and then myself, we just continued doing what was already
Yeah.
But the checks all this time have been written to Trails Regional Library. Sometimes it says Odessa Branch on there, but it never says foundation on there at all. And so when we met with Nita and Rena, okay, all right, they wanted to see if we could just deposit those, because they want those payments to be made immediately on the principal. And so that way, that helps with the interest and everything. And so I told her that I'd be more than happy to do that. And she asked what she needed to do. I asked her if she wanted to send a letter, and so that's where the letter came from. And that letter, of course, will be shared at the next foundation meeting as well, unless you guys tell me something. At this
In the CD, it says the Odessa Building Fund, the 40,000, and the Waverly 4,000 into a 12-month. Are there two separate 12-month CDs, or do they lump them all together?
The Waverly, no, the Waverly 4,000 is in one CD,
Okay.
12-month CD, and the 40,000 from the Odessa Building Fund. Both of those are building funds, by the way. We're just not currently paying on anything at Waverly, right?
So we really can't, they really can't pick out that money until August or September.
Yeah.
September probably.
September 25th.
So I think one thing that we need to do, if we decide that that's what we want to do, but if Jackie is getting the check from them that says Trails Library, we need to somehow vote to give her our authority that she is allowed to do that, so that she doesn't get herself in hot water in some way. Somehow we need to make sure that it's okay for her to do that.
Who does the foundation, who oversees them? Anyone?
Their board. But there is no membership. It's just board members. And then our board president as liaison and the director. But no,
There was no membership.
because how are you gonna do all this fundraising if you don't have a membership to?
You don't have no way to do it.
attend the fundraising events, or to volunteer to put them on.
So primarily at this point, other than the small amount of fundraising they do with book sales, that's pretty much all the fundraising.
Since I've been here, that's all the
Okay, that's what I
fundraising that
thought.
I'm aware of.
And
And they're utilizing the libraries and library staff.
No, I cut that out, but they were.
They were,
Mm.
And that's why not all the branches have book sales anymore, because I was like, no, if you read our policy, staff are not, they work for the library, they don't work for the foundation. And so they were basically just having the staff do everything. And so when we cut that out, I mean, it took a while, and I was very insistent, you have to have a volunteer. And so we have a branch now that we're not sure if that volunteer is gonna continue or not.
I just don't understand, they use Trails Regional name, but we have no oversight over them or what they do.
I don't believe they want us to.
I think that's right.
And honestly, a true foundation, because I have worked places that had foundations and worked with other foundations, they have membership, they have a board that is the oversight for the foundation. Even though but then they have to go by what their bylaws are, what their mission is, what their goals are, and it's usually you have to spend that money to support the library. I mean, friends groups, it works kind of the same way, that's the mission, and if it's in your bylaws, the only fund, you can only use these funds to support the library, well, then you can't go donate to another library that burned down, because that violates what your founding document says.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but they used to, each branch had a Friends of the Library Association. And you paid, members could pay like $25 a year to be a member of that organization. And they fundraised and brought money into that branch. that for some reason there was a problem with it and they consolidated it all over to this Trails Regional Foundation. They transferred all the money that all the other, that there's no longer a membership, there's no longer when it was each individual branch, people in the community bought memberships, and that that was a fundraiser and helped support that.
And it's,
But when it all rolled over to the Trails Regional Foundation, they don't do any of that anymore.
and of course, if you, in their brochure, that's what I was talking
I don't know if their
brochure,
foundation
it
was
still
already
says
there.
Membership on there. And so I've been, if you can look at the agenda, where I've been trying to get them to, but they look at me like, well, you're the marketing department, you should just update, well, I don't know what you want on it. This is your organization, and so it took a couple times, they finally gave me some feedback, but it was like pulling teeth, and it's like, they're looking at me like, oh, you should just have your staff do it. Well, I don't mind them doing it, but you gotta tell them what changes you want.
Well,
some of
I mean, even if they had, you know, or it's something they excel at, it should be.
Some of the branches,
You want it.
I don't know
I
if the
just-
foundation was already there, and so all these friends of the library organizations rolled over into the foundation, or if they started the foundation to consolidate them all together.
No, the foundation was already started, and then they consolidated, was it 2018, 2019?
Yeah, it was under Rochelle.
Rochelle, yeah, and Rochelle was here for about 10 months, I think.
And some of those friends, they had quite a bit of money they rolled over into that.
Yes, and they're not willing to spend any of it, because, I don't know how long I've been president, everything that has come to them that asks for funding, they say, no, they could probably go get that for free somewhere.
Or that should be in the library.
Yeah,
in the library.
yeah, they have not, I mean, that's for almost 2.5 years, they've not.
Well, no, I have to say, last year, they did approve some purchases, most of it was here at Warrensburg for
For
some new
furniture. I was gonna say, they bought
But
furniture.
at that time, I think there was 4 branches, because so you didn't ask for a whole lot, like a Keurig and a couple other small things.
We actually had a patron donate for $2,500. In it, she stated, I want this to be used for things that make money. So we went to the foundation through and worked with her specifically what we were talking about. That's what I brought to the foundation, and they denied all.
This year.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. They denied all of them this year, and said they would table them until November. And I just was like, you know what, it's too much trouble, it's too much work for my branch managers to put all that documentation together. It's too much for me to put the packet together with all of that documentation in there, for it to just be a no. Because and then they were questioning, well, we should be doing this, we should be purchasing this stuff, well, what are our goals, and well, you're not accomplishing your goals.
Well, probably because they're
I mean,
afraid if they spend all their money, then they'll just have to dissolve, and, because they're not interested in fundraising.
Honestly,
Yeah.
at this point, that would probably be the best thing.
Well, then it wouldn't be confusing for donors who.
Yeah, exactly.
Donate to the library and then.
Because I'm already tracking what the money's supposed to be for, which branch it's for, I'm already doing all of that. So,
Well, I say that we vote that you can deposit those checks and direct them where they're supposed to go.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, that needs to be stated so that it.
And then, do we need to address anything more about the foundation, or?
Well, I think-
I mean, I don't know how much power we have over them.
I don't know necessarily that you can be like, okay, kick people off the board or whatever, but I think because they were created to support the library, I do feel like that this board should at least have a discussion with them on their concerns.
Like, we should at least get yearly reports, at least.
You got-
You get
Yeah,
because we forced them to.
pretty much, yeah. I was afraid she maybe wasn't gonna show up. I thought maybe that's why she had come to the Lexington meeting to do it there, and if I'd have thought about it, I would have put her on there for that, since it would have been more convenient.
I have been here the longest and I have never heard anything out of them, no kind of report, no kind of nothing. In fact, I've even heard, if you can, get on the foundation board because you don't have to do anything and you get paid mileage, you get a check to do nothing.
And who pays the mileage?
The library.
Uh-huh.
And that's something that's bothered me too, because shouldn't that come out of foundation, but then that's all donation.
Yeah.
So,
So another thing that bothers me too is they have, it says Trails Regional Foundation. That's a reflection on our libraries too. It's a reflection on us because they're not doing what they're doing. The whole fact that they haven't paid the money for like, what, 5 years? There's that.
counting 2025, it would be 6 years, yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of money that people have donated, and I
Yeah.
can see why they're angry. That somehow they should at least be, it should be suggested that you need to rectify that.
Well,
Well, the ladies were very upset when we met with them. To the
I think
point
they
that
should
one of the
be.
first things out of one of the ladies' mouths was, well, what if I sue them for misappropriation of funds? I was like, well, we probably don't wanna maybe do that, but, but yeah, she was angry. She was very angry
That
and
is
frustrated.
misappropriation of funds.
well,
Absolutely.
but we don't have control over what the foundation does.
I know we don't.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe two.
But
But if
now
we
they're
could
not
have,
getting those.
if we could have some sort of meeting with them where they're saying like, well, here's how much money, kind of like a treasurer's report of like, here's how much money we spent and here's how much we gained. Maybe, I mean, theoretically that would be like, oh, and they have us and we're asking all these questions. You know, they should be like, oh, we should be approving more and we should be doing funds, and like, oh, people are questioning what we're doing.
Well, I think it would be a good idea. I mean, what we're doing is not working effectively for the foundation or the library, either one.
Right.
And so I think that's how the meeting should be approached. We want to be more effective for both sides. And the fact that, I mean, I'm sure that they have concerns,
Oh, I'm sure.
but in order for us to address them and for them to address some of our concerns, we have to meet. And I think we've asked that once before, and I think we're gonna have to go back and ask it again. But I just feel like that's how we should approach it, that it's not working, because if I pass away and my family wants to give a donation, they can either do the foundation or they can go straight to a branch, okay? But there's not really, I know the managers are explaining that to them, which I think will make it so that the foundation gets less money and there will be more money going to the branch, and which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I think there needs to be a clear way that people can donate, and we need to work better together. And we don't have the power to force anybody to do that, but I would like to know how effective they think they are being, because I know that in November, earlier last year, there was some big discussion, because I was reading their minutes, about, and they put it off, whatever it was. You know what I'm talking about?
That's,
Yeah, it happened
Any
a lot.
any meeting you go to.
if you give me a little bit more detail, I might be able to recall exactly what it
Yeah.
is, but yeah.
But, I mean, the board if the board could say that we want to add the foundation to the board responsibilities. Do they report to anybody who's gonna tell them we can't do that?
Would we have to get their approval?
I think it would require, and I haven't spoken to the attorney about this, but I can certainly do that to get some more info if you'd like, legal side of things. But I think the bylaws would have to be changed to reflect that.
Yeah.
And so they would
Their
have to,
bylaws.
yes, they would have to agree to that.
You notice their bylaws have not been revised since 2005.
That's fine.
It even has like an old post office box for
Well, that was
their
highlighted,
headquarters
right,
or
yeah.
whatever,
I didn't know
so.
if that was older.
So, how do we proceed?
And I know, like Patty was mentioning, that they wanted me, so they wanted to call a special meeting and wanted me to fit it in before I left town in September. And so I'm like, well, it depends on what all, you're asking me, you keep giving me a whole list of stuff that I need to research. I said, I've gotta have time to do that adequately to be prepared for this meeting. And so I fit it in, the Thursday before my last day in the office. And they were upset at that meeting when they decided to pull the money out and put Edward Jones, because I couldn't drop everything I was doing. I had a booked full week. I mean, I work ahead whenever I'm gonna be gone for 2 weeks, or, you know. But I felt like they got really upset with me because I wouldn't drop what I was doing, and I even told them, I said, I can't, I'm not gonna be able to fit in a trip to Odessa and back to get that done. I said, I'm not the only one on the bank account. So if someone else is on the bank account would like to go and pull the money and bring the check to me in Warrensburg, and then I can, you know, get it over there from there, or even take it to Edward Jones yourself. But they weren't willing to do that.
Yeah.
So then they got a lower interest rate, because if we'd have done it immediately, we probably would have got 5% or pretty close. And now they ended up with 3.9. So, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I feel like that they're probably serving because they do want to be of assistance to the library. You know, that they want to do good things. So the less adversarial we could go in, I think would be helpful. Just like what we have isn't working well, we feel like on either end, and we would like to work together to see if we can come up with a way to make that
So
happen.
how do you suggest, do we send a committee to attend the meeting? Or?
Well, they have to operate in good faith.
Yes, yes.
They're not operating in good faith.
I'd like to get a little input from the attorney on how much clout we have with them and how much we can demand from them.
And back to what Carlin said, I think they are doing what they're supposed to do.
I think
That's
they
the
do too.
impression
I
that
think
I
they do
get.
too.
I think maybe Patty probably feels that
I
way too.
think, yes, and I feel like that they don't, that they're afraid to spend the money, that they think, I don't know, it's like they don't know what to do. They just talk it around and then say, well, we can't do that. And, I just feel like they don't know how to handle the money.
And do they fundraise at all?
I don't think so.
See, and that's the
So-
point. It doesn't sound like they fundraise at all.
They talk about it.
See, even when it was Friends of the Library, when it was individual
Mm-hmm.
and it was Friends of the Library, they would sell memberships, which was, you paid dues.
Right, I was a friend of the
paid-
library in Odessa 40 years ago.
Yes, you paid membership dues, and then they would go to some of the businesses and stuff and ask for like a business membership. And so I think that was more, and that's how they fundraised, and that's how they brought in money every year.
And we had the book sales and that
Yes,
kind of
they
thing.
had,
That would
they
be-
had different things, and I think
Little
even
fundraisers.
at some of the fairs and stuff, they would have,
Deanna, did you have something you wanted to say?
I was just gonna say, and it sounds like they need to set a budget and like goals of just like what they would like to spend money on a yearly, quarterly basis. And then they would know what they need to fundraise towards.
But they had those goals that were, I
Okay.
don't know when those were. They had endowment funds. So basically then $500,000 is one of them. And so when you get that base, then anything above that, you know, is earned, interest, or whatever, then that should be coming to the library to offset
Yeah.
programming, collection, one of them, technology was one. I think altogether it was $850,000 in endowment funds. that
well, the
they're
number
supposed to
one
be-
thing is provide branch facilities,
Oh yeah.
assist in library capital improvements. That's the number one thing on their
Yeah.
list.
And 2 is 100,000 for technology, 3 is 500,000 for the collection development, and then number 4 is 250,000 for the programming budget.
Well, but I don't think our director should be acting as their secretary. You don't act as this board's secretary.
She's not the secretary.
I'm not the secretary, but I do put your packets and notice the meetings and all that. And
Right.
I don't do minutes for them. Their secretary does the minutes, but they don't do the packet, which I think it says in there that
It does, it says,
responsible,
yeah,
for the secretary. And then set the agenda to work with the board president to set the agenda. So that, all of that I'm doing, and of course, if you look in there, the part about the, financial statements or whatever, it says, or they could designate someone. So, I mean, according to the bylaws, the way they stand, they could technically have me doing that. And like I said, I don't mind doing that because it is audited with the library. But I should be able to just like our accountant gives me a financial report, I need to be able to interpret that and to answer any questions that you guys might have on it. But I don't feel like that's what's going on with them. They look to me to present the report, and it's like, I'm not the treasurer. I know I put this together, but,
Yeah.
so I don't know, and I don't know if the waters were muddied when the foundation was first set up, and then it's just kind of continued that way, is my impression. And then I think, and then of course they rolled in all of the, Friends of the Library groups, but I don't know if any of them served on the board, do you? No, not that you're aware of.
But they should be putting their own packets together and doing all that
Right.
stuff.
Posting the meetings.
Posting meetings, everything else, they should be
Setting the
doing all
dates and all
that,
that
and
stuff.
just getting the financial report from Jackie.
I agree, yes, I agree.
And I guess my concern was that if I brought it to them, like at a meeting in their bylaws, I would feel like they would want to change the bylaws and be director is responsible for it, but they can't really give me work to do.
You're not
that I
their
work for
employee.
them.
You know, work for
Yeah.
them, no.
So,
We need to make a motion at this time to allow you to handle the money situation.
Okay, so are they aware of this issue with the closed closet? I'm sorry.
But we also need to indicate that we don't believe that you are responsible for the duties of the foundation. And we need to do two things, basically. And there's ways to handle that. I don't think we should pass a motion that says you're not getting Jack anymore. I think we should talk to them.
oh, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. There needs to
Yeah.
be discussion.
Yeah.
But for the first thing we need to do is make it so that we authorize you at this time to handle that portion of the money, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I would feel better.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, we need
Board
to do that,
action
just
on
to
that.
protect her from anything coming back and causing a problem. So does somebody wanna make a motion in that
I
regard?
feel like I already had typed that Carlin made a motion.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
And we,
Give
That
her,
we,
give her-
okay.
Accept the checks from,
Okay, I'm sorry, that's my bad.
it was a while ago.
Yeah,
We just got,
We've been discussing.
carried away here.
and then you had a
The
question.
foundation board is aware of this problem with the,
Yes.
So, not to this extent, they are not. So I just got this the Wednesday before my last day in the office, and of course, this is the first full week of, we haven't made the full week yet, but hopefully we will.
Right.
So they have not been made aware of this, as of yet, but they do have a meeting coming up the first, I want to say it's the first Wednesday in February. I think the date is the 5th. But that'll be their next meeting. So I will be putting it on their agenda just like it has been on yours. Your meeting just came first. And I didn't want to hold on to it. I mean, she gave me 2 checks that day that she's been holding on to because she didn't want it. She wanted to get all this straightened out
Right.
first. And then Kendra just gave me the third one.
I mean, I think they do need to be aware that it's a misappropriation of funds. And you had a meeting though with the closed closet people.
Yes, I did. Susan and I did.
Okay, let's,
I think you were in there.
okay, let's go on to the motion. So Carla made a motion, she seconded it. And what have you written down as the words of the motion so we get this right?
Motion by Carlin Dillon to allow Jackie to accept checks from Odessa Clothes Closet. And wrote down.
And apply it to the payment for the Odessa
To the
branch.
principal of the building.
Okay. Is everybody clear on that? Did you hear that, Leanna?
Yes.
Okay,
You good
so-
with that? You okay?
Okay, so motion has been made and seconded to give Jackie authority to, accept the money from the clothes closet and apply it to the Odessa building, correct? Did I get that right? Okay, more discussion?
Building fund.
Building fund, principal.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Okay, and more discussion? Okay, let's vote.
Anna,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Goldie,
Yes.
Patty,
Yes.
Becky, yes, Jane,
Yes.
Carlin,
Yes.
Okay, so, motion carried, all right, so, you're clear on that. Now, how else do we need to proceed? I agree with Goldie that something needs to be said in regard to, that we think that Jackie is not responsible to handle all their stuff, so, how do we want to word that? Do we want a motion for that? Probably.
I can make a motion that we form a committee, right? That's what we-
I mean, I think
I
there,
think we have to make a motion to do that.
I'm sorry,
Will
what-
you speak with the attorney?
I can certainly speak with the attorney. I mean, you guys can table it until after they've been informed of this, and maybe they have a suggestion on how to get you guys together. But like, kind of when I was brainstorming, because Patty asked me a question, like, suggestions or whatever, the only thing I think that's the best way to do it is to get the boards together in some way, whether it's, like I said, a committee from this board goes to their full board, or there's a committee from both boards, or there's a committee from their board that comes to our board, or we have a joint meeting of both full boards. So
How many people are in their boards?
they're supposed to have 10, and then, of course, Patty and I serve on as liaisons, but they don't have a full, they're not full, and then they've got one lady that hasn't been coming in quite some time. So there's probably 8.
It's in that,
No, I did not put in your packet, but it's, Mark Shore, I think is how you say his last name. There's Sharon McMullen, there's Dina Avers.
no, not Sharon McMullen, Sharon Way.
Oh, Sharon Wagner is Cheryl McMullen, sorry. Yeah, Sharon Wagner, and then Dina Aversman,
The secretary lady, somebody.
Bobby
Becky-
Erickson.
Bobby Erickson,
She's
but,
my name.
Rebecca, somebody.
Yeah, that was.
Rebecca Clear,
And then Cheryl,
and then
Cheryl, yeah.
McMullen, but then the treasurer, what is her name? She leaves that.
I missed the name in there, but.
And then
I'll get
there's
it
supposed
for
to,
you.
I think, Peggy Gilman,
Yeah.
who has not been coming, and then there's Judy Walter on there as well. It's set up like y'all's board, there's 5 from each county.
That's what I was gonna ask, are they
Yes.
represented both counties?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so,
Maybe we should extend an invitation to have a discussion.
do you want her to speak with the attorney, though, that's what we said just a minute ago.
Yeah.
We should let her speak to the attorney regarding this before we,
talk it in before we talk.
I don't know, yeah, what do you think?
Well, if they meet quarterly, they're not gonna meet again till,
They're gonna
Right.
meet in, yeah.
The 5th of February is their next meeting, and then it'll be the first Wednesday in May, be their next one.
There was like 6 at the August meeting, plus you two.
There isn't any reason why Jackie couldn't meet with the attorney and we still couldn't meet with them.
Right.
I mean, we could meet with them. and-
Right.
And just, kind of get an idea of, because again, what we're doing isn't effective on
Right.
either side. And that's what our goal is, to try and make it more effective, and better meet everybody's goals.
Mhm.
And so I think,
So you think like some of us, besides me and Jackie, go to the meeting and,
because it's an open meeting, isn't it?
get them up to meeting? It is, yeah.
And I don't wanna take over their foundation, that's not what I wanna do either, but they need to be a little more effective.
They need to do their job.
do
Well,
their
yeah,
job.
and they need to handle the funds appropriately.
And if they're working under Trails Regional, then,
Yeah, that kind of is a slam on our, I mean, it makes us look
Yeah.
bad too, because people give that money to them under the trail's name, and then, I mean, it just
so
all.
basically what is happening is we operate and handle all of the taxpayers' money. And the foundation is operating and working under gifts and fundraising money.
Not fully, because we get donations made to the library as well. So
Right.
we also have designated gifts, that's what that whole account is for. And then, of course, we get donations as well. But yes, the bulk of ours is taxpayer money, you are
Right.
correct.
And they're operating more off gifts and
Donations.
donations. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
taxpayers are paying for their mileage.
Yeah, okay, so any other suggestions? I mean, I don't know exactly where we need to go with this. All we've decided is that we really need to do something.
I mean, if you, I can certainly, I do their agenda, so I can certainly put, this on the agenda to have discussion with them. I can let them know, well, Patty should be at the meeting as well, unless something comes up, where we can talk to them about this discussion and kind of, what you guys would like to get together. The only other thing you could do, so that I could maybe put it in their packet, is if there was a letter that was done from the board. And you probably need a motion to do that, I think, so, to appoint whoever was going to do that, if it was gonna come from Patty or whatever, just that you're taking action.
If we're gonna talk to them, though, I would think it would be better if we have more than just me there, because I get the feeling they don't like me being there. And, no, I'm serious, the first
No, I
time,
know
the
what
first
you're
time
talking-
I
I
came,
know.
they said, who are you? And I told them, and they said, well, why are you here? That's what they said. And so, and that's kind of what they,
But if,
that's kind of,
how many board members from this board can attend that board meeting without us being informed?
You hit 6, that's four.
Even
Majority
though
of
we
your
only
full
have
board.
9.
It's for your full board, if you were full, that's still considered the full. So you could have 6
So-
people. The only thing, I wouldn't want them to feel ambushed, I guess.
Yeah.
no, but I meant, just,
Yeah.
this,
Or maybe if there was a letter that could be put in their packet so that it kind of set the tone for what, like, Goldie, oh my gosh.
Or Jackie, whatever.
This person over here, that one. To kind of set the tone, and then you can talk about, you know, so they already are kind of aware, and they would get that a week before the meeting, kind of like what you guys do.
So do we want to try and meet with them at their meeting, or do we want to make sure that that they can discuss it at their meeting and set up a meeting after that? Because there's no reason why we have to talk to them at their meeting.
You don't necessarily have to. If you do that letter, you could put in there, we would like to get together,
Yeah.
you know, a special meeting, whether, and if you guys want both boards, full boards, or if you want committees from each board, however you want that to look, I think all of that could potentially go into that letter.
that isn't a bad idea, send them a letter so that they have it at that meeting and request that we set up a special meeting.
Mhm.
Yeah, set up a special meeting, and then it wouldn't be like, it would be another
Mhm.
3 months before anything takes place.
And you could already tell them, you know, what you wanted to discuss with them so that they're aware, you know. And then they could maybe have a discussion at their meeting, and then there could be a joint meeting or, you know, I would say at y'all's meeting, they would maybe need to come to one of your meetings, because you guys meet every month and they only meet quarterly, unless there was a special meeting.
Yeah, I would suggest a special meeting with the option of committees, 3 or 4 people. And, then that way it gives, because, I mean, and they could tell some of their concerns to you
Mm-hmm.
that they would also like to see addressed on the agenda for that meeting, which wouldn't have, it it wouldn't have to be a quorum meeting, so it could just be a meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
But we have to be careful. If we have a committee, we don't wanna have,
Well, that's what she was saying,
Yeah.
it'd be a committee of 3 or 4 people
yeah,
from
yeah,
each
yeah,
board.
okay, I'm just
I know,
trying
you're
to
just
think,
making sure.
I'm trying to think of all the things that we need to be thinking of. Okay, so what, do we want to, does someone want to make a motion to write a letter to them and ask them, telling our concerns and asking for a special meeting? Does that sound like something that we should do, or does that work for, what do you all think should happen? Or if not, what, someone else make a suggestion, whatever, that's the best that I can come up with, that we've discussed.
And then just set up a special meeting to discuss the concerns, but the goals of the foundation, whatever, how we want to put it.
However you want, yeah.
Goals and expectations of the foundation.
And again, that's the corporate closet, because they'll get that letter.
Mhm.
Their
Yeah.
meeting as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Just because that could drag us into a lawsuit along with the foundation.
Possibly, I don't know, I'd have to.
You don't, well, I mean, that's what I'm saying, you don't know, but
Yeah,
but they're, as of this meeting, they're not aware of this.
correct.
so, do we need to talk to the attorney before we send a letter, or do we can?
Well, I think whatever the lawyer says, we still need to address some concerns that we have with them.
Okay, so,
And I think, so, if you're gonna compose a letter, that's what you guys decide to do, they will get that in their packet. So, it'd be in their packet, 29th. I think is the date, it's the Wednesday before their meeting, and then they would, on the 5th would be their meeting. So then they would have a chance to discuss it, they would have your letter that you want to meet with them. That would give me time to also speak with the attorney,
Mhm.
and you could even potentially set up, if you wanted to, either I could bring that information to the special meeting, or, at your February,
Right.
the advice from the attorney.
Okay, so, but we're not going to address in the meeting the letter from the closed closet in this letter. This is
no,
our,
no,
hey, we want to get together and let's get some things figured
Yeah.
out.
yes,
But that is also, that will be addressed at their thing, and the meeting, or the letter came to us, and that was our involvement. We got the letter and we're passing it on. Okay.
mhm. Okay. So do we need a motion for that? Or is that, I mean, this is,
I would suggest yes, because it's action that you're taking.
okay, so does anybody want to make a motion?
Like you already did. Yeah.
Oh, we already have a motion?
It's so many, I mean,
Yeah,
I said that we put a letter in their packet from us stating that we would like to, meet with a committee, a committee of us, meet with a committee of them in a special meeting and discuss their goals and objectives.
An hour
yeah.
to discuss goals and objectives.
To discuss goals.
For the group.
How's that? That working?
All right.
Simple.
Anybody want to second that?
Second it?
Okay, all right. So motion was made, can you read that back? Have you got it
I
typed?
haven't gotten
Oh,
it
yeah,
typed
okay.
yet, no, because I have what I typed, plus then I was just typing around it.
A motion was made, the motion to send a letter stating that we would like to discuss their goals and our goals and have a special meeting to meet with them to do so. Is that close?
Because their goal is to raise $850,000. And they're not doing it.
Yeah, we know.
Maybe they need to revise their goals.
Yeah, I know, that's what I mean, yeah, they,
And I think that I think we all need to be clear on what the requirements and, yeah, how do you get the money?
yeah.
Well, and they need to take some responsibility for their board.
And honestly, I mean, and I know like one of the ladies on the board, I can't remember which meeting it was, but made the statement, oh, well, I'm just too busy, you can't count on me for fundraising. Well, I mean, that's pretty much what they're supposed to be
Purpose,
doing,
yeah.
so, I mean, if they're not willing to fundraise past book sales, what's the purpose? Because you're, either that or you need to change what the goals are, the ultimate overarching goals are, because you're never gonna get there.
Okay. So, any more discussion? All right, take a vote, thank you.
Leanna,
Yes.
Yes.
Goldie,
Yes.
Patty,
Yes.
Becky, yes, Jane,
Yes.
and Carla.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. Okay, now, how are we gonna do this letter? Did you like volunteer to do that, or do you want? I mean, I would be glad to help you write a letter. Or do we need a committee to write a letter?
I don't mind writing a letter. I don't think the letter should be from me.
No, I agree. No, I agree.
Should be from the board.
Yes, from the board, yes. I didn't mean that, I'm sorry, if that's
That's
how
okay.
that came across. I
No,
meant
that's
that
fine, I
you-
did,
you- You would
Put Goldie in the hot
propose
seat.
the letter.
And I can, you want me to share, you want me to share with us? We'll talk.
Well, yeah, I mean, share it with Jackie, and she can, if she has any concerns or
Okay.
whatever, yeah, and I mean,
Email
do
it.
you all want her to send it to all of you to look at before we get it?
It should just be a letter of a couple sentences.
Yeah,
It's
right,
not
right, it shouldn't be.
2 or 3 sentences should be it, yeah.
It shouldn't be too complicated. Okay, all right, did I say that motion carried? Okay, all right, then, is there anything else that we want to discuss about this before we go to our closed session? Kendra, do you have anything else you?
I have a few announcements that
Okay.
didn't make it on here.
Do you
but-
have anything else you want to add or tell us that would be advantageous to what we're trying to do?
All these things that I know that people that have donated money are starting to get concerned because they're asking, where is it and what's been done with it, and don't have answers.
Okay,
Could you assure them that we are trying to address that?
I absolutely,
okay,
absolutely.
okay.
So does the foundation, do they meet at the same place every month, or do they?
They meet
like,
here every month, they stay here in Warrensburg.
Okay.
Yeah, and any of you, feel free to come to the meeting. Okay, go ahead with your announcement.
They meet February the fifth?
Yes,
What time?
at 7,
7? Okay.
7 o'clock, same as y'all.
We don't do,
We don't do the live
streaming,
streaming.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
That makes sense.
So announcements, of course, the board of trustees, there's still that Johnson County vacancy, and we haven't quite got it posted, we had planned to, but, we're hoping it'll be posted this week in the paper, it is already up on the website. So hopefully we'll get some applications in. The other thing, so I don't know if you saw it in your check register, there was a LUCET, vendor, L-U-C-E-T, just wanted to let you know, that used to be New Directions, which is our EAP, our Employee Assistance Program. So that is changed, so you'll see that difference, in the check register there. Just wanted to give a reminder of the Trailblazer Awards, we got 2, orders already, so I don't know.
And then we have,
Are you on the committee? Can't remember who's on that committee.
I don't think officially.
Okay, I don't know who's on the committee, I
Dan
didn't
is.
bring that with me. Dan is.
Dan.
Yeah, I know, that's all I think can, but I don't.
Can I get a little confused on the committees tomorrow?
I have it upstairs, but I didn't bring that folder down.
I got it here.
No, I'm on it.
It's Dan, Goldie, and me, I guess.
Okay.
I was like, I'm listening, cause I don't know, I don't remember.
I don't think I-
I don't think I was.
I don't know if, has Tessa sent all the applications or just the first quarter? Okay. Do you want me to have her send second quarter that's finished, or do you want to wait a little bit?
So
to
did,
get the first
so
one?
did they get it awarded to them?
No, you guys were supposed to read through the applications and choose.
Yeah, okay, that's kind of what I thought.
I thought that we did that. I thought she asked who, and we, she sent us the applications, and we looked at them, and we all said who.
I think we did.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh.
We need to follow up on that.
yeah.
Yeah, because when I touched base with her, she was like, no, nobody's ever let me know. She's like, I sent them the info, so I don't know.
Maybe she sent
Shouldn't
something
there
to
be
her
a
email too.
presentation, and shouldn't that have been covered by, like, you know?
Board members?
Media.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, if there was, yeah, we would
I
have
mean,
announced, yeah.
We'll look at
them again. Okay.
Yeah, no, we did, we did some picking.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should get in contact.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
We will have a report at a later date on the topic.
Okay. The next announcement I have is the Library Advocacy Day. I know some of you, I know Patty,
February 4th.
was it you that?
I went last
Yeah.
year, February 4th.
The Jane, okay, it was just the two of you guys.
Yeah,
last
the
year.
two of us.
I don't remember there were.
It was
At
just
Gem
the two of us.
City?
Yeah, I just said it.
I wanna go to that.
Yeah.
When?
I'm gonna send you guys out, the information, but just, I will register everybody, so just, once you get that information, respond to that email and be like, hey, I wanna go, and I will
Okay.
get you registered.
Do you know what the date is?
It is the 4th, yes,
February
it's
4th.
from,
I already looked it up, actually.
yes, it's 9:30, to 5, but we have a 2-hour break for lunch because they're not providing lunch, which is why it doesn't cost us anything, but we will have to do something for lunch.
Okay.
Which means we have to leave and then try to find parking and walk back.
We could pack a peanut
This
butter
is gonna be
sandwich.
fun.
We could take sack lunch.
That'd be great. Now, who's that one person that's willing to trek the hill?
We could just pack a sack lunch.
Driving.
We could do that too, we could do.
Yeah, that hill,
We could do DoorDash, you are right. Yeah.
that hill was. I know last year it was for me, because I was like, you know,
Mhm.
yeah, just a couple months post-op on that one.
Yes, you
Oh,
were.
yeah, you couldn't even have anything to do.
Yeah.
Do you have,
So
is
that
there not parking up there close, or?
Only if you have a handicap.
I have been.
We're all riding with Carly.
How big of a vehicle do you have?
I didn't care, take 4 plus myself.
Yes, so you can,
But like,
I'm
kind
not
of
sure how, I
in
know
the
it's
back, I could
closer,
just-
but
3 in the back,
Then
1
we
in
meet at
front.
the Secretary of State.
All right, so what else?
Oh,
The last
I've never
thing
been
I
to
had
Jeff
And you really can't.
to announce was, we had an employee that had retired, November 1st. She actually passed away on January 3rd, Beverly Hewitt.
Really?
Yes, I did not know about it with the inclement weather and everything until I came back to work on Thursday, so the funeral and everything was on Wednesday, so I was extremely upset that
Did she work here?
she did here in Warrensburg, yeah.
She retired.
And-
time.
And if you don't mind, I'd like to read an email that I got. This is how I found out. Becky Clear is actually on the foundation board, and she used to work here at the Warrensburg branch. So she sent me, an email, and it was talking about Bev, and I thought she did a great job, talking about her. She said, "Good morning, Jackie. I hope you're doing well through this winter weather. I'm sure you know we lost our sweet Bev. I hope you got to know her a little. If programmers are the heart of the Warrensburg branch, Bev was the lungs. She taught all the newbies how to shell. I used to joke that Bev could detect a disturbance in the force if something was shelled wrong. She would be in a completely different section, and here she would come. She never criticized, just quietly corrected it and said, oh, well. If there was a book that couldn't be found, Bev would find it. It may be days, weeks, or months later, but Bev would find it. No one else might remember it was missing, but Bev did. That woman can find anything on microfilm, which is very true." Yes. She supported and accepted everyone. She organized and faithfully executed birthday cards for the staff. She was a treasure. I didn't even know she retired until I heard she was gone. I knew she was having health problems, but I didn't know she had retired. I just assumed she was coming back because I couldn't imagine the library without Bev. I still can't. Bev always came back. her funeral is today. I just wanted to get some of this off of my heart and to let the acting director know you lost a treasure. Thank you, Becky. Yeah. Sorry.
Was she elderly or older, or, I mean, are we talking sixties, seventies?
I think she was 64. Because her plan was to retire when she hit 65, and then with the health issue, she ended up retiring a year earlier than she had.
I'm not sure who she is. Was she the lady that worked here? Did she work here? Was she the one with the walker?
No.
I haven't seen her in the library.
Oh, she's here. She
Is
was
she?
here today.
I didn't, when I've been coming in, I haven't seen her
Yeah.
lately, so
Yeah.
wasn't sure if that was her or not.
But Bev had glasses, short, like kind of wavy curly hair. Yeah. She always worked the front desk.
Yeah,
She was normally the person.
Yeah. Yep.
very calm.
Yeah.
That was very calm.
Yes, very. And it's up until now, you know, but when I go to conferences or I go to these, you know, different meetings with different directors or, you know, people are always, oh, you know, I remember going into the Warrensburg branch and, you know, that woman, sometimes they can't remember her name, but they would describe her and then I would say the name, or a lot of them remember her name. And they would be, is she still there? And I was able to say, oh yeah, she's still
Yeah.
with us, you know, and so now I'll have to tell them a different answer whenever they do that.
Yeah, that's kind of sad, she just,
Yeah.
okay, so, any more announcements?
Nope, that's
Anybody
all
else
that I
have
have.
announcements? Okay, then I need to hear a motion that we move out of, okay, we'll wait for you to leave. Thank you for coming.
Thanks. Safely.
See you tomorrow, Ken. Book club.
Okay, I need a motion for us to move out of regular session into closed session so that we can discuss the evaluation. Survey objective. Your second?
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded that we move into closed session. Discussion? No? Okay, take a vote.
Brianna?
Yes.
Cole?
Yes.
Cody?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Becky? Yes. Jane? Yes. Rose?
Yes.
8:25. It's 8:25. Yeah, good, good. Okay, do we,
I had to turn the last one.
okay,
I also have something I would take you guys
okay. I know last year we had Jackie leave and then come back, or?
Yeah, we just looked over the report, I think, and then she came back. Did everybody get it? I sent it, I shared it, okay.
Did.
So that you could like look over and.
We looked over it and talked a little bit and then asked her to come back to the meeting.
I think